Hello, hello. Give me a second. You know I'm the busiest, wildest host of all time. Give me a second. Welcome, Renee. What's up, my girl?
I'm feeling like Hardy today. Rest in peace.
Oh my god. I can't.
I'm not even lying.
There's gonna be a lot of chaos today. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of chaotic energy. Welcome to my
Yeah.
lovely co-host. We'll let everybody kind of trickle in. I usually have my music. Let me get my music up. I just got off the phone with my assistant, holding me accountable, guys. Welcome, welcome, Lizzie. Are you an industry HBO fan? Are you new? Were you there in the beginning? Heck yeah, I love that. So, give me just a couple of minutes and we'll get started. Welcome to What We Watch. Hi, Lizzie. Lizzie, you are a new face in the What We Watch space. Have you been in one before?
No, but I watched the last one.
You listened to the last
Yeah,
space?
I listened to the last one. Yeah, I watched Industry when it first came out, and I really liked it. But I never got to. I didn't see a space until like the second season, which is cool. I don't know anyone that really watches it like that,
Yeah, here's the thing.
but
That's
I
we're not
loved
even
it.
worried about. That is what we watch is about. We're here to recommend. We're here to put people on. We're here to help people improve their experience with TV. So I actually love that you said that because that's why we're here. We are the glue, the liaison. You feel me?
Awesome. Happy to be here.
Industry is honestly, I feel like the it shouldn't be kept a secret, but it's like
Right.
one of the best shows. Like I was talking to one of my homeboys today, and he was like, "Renee, Industry was the best show you've like ever recommended to me."
It's so good. I think it's really underrated, but it's really good.
It's extremely well written, and we have to be careful when we're like excited about our stuff because when it goes mainstream. But here's the thing: as an artist, like everything deserves it deserves all the praise, like kind of what you're saying, Renee. But oh look there, I love the theme of Industry. Can y'all hear it in the background? But I know that as more people like get on, there's going to be a lot more conversations about it, which is what I live for. But I also love the little intimate conversations we have now. I mean, legit, like Renee and I were just having a conversation last time, and we had a ton of people tune in, some of them being the showrunners and actors of the shows. So it was amazing. We are here. We're actually going to talk about everything again, like we did last time, but I really want to talk about this episode specifically. And welcome, Gary. If you want to come up and chat with us, of course, you're more than welcome. If you want to stay and listen, that works for us too. Let's chat industry HBO. Follow what we watched film TV. Episode 6 for me is most likely, and this is how I know I'm watching an amazing television show, when I keep saying that the following episode is the best episode thus far. So I am here once again to say this is one of the best episodes. I said that for like I think the third and fourth, and now this one. But I truly feel like this season has held strong. A lot of TV shows and series, like they have those. It's really hard for like a second season. You have to keep people as excited as they were the first season, but you have to like decide how you're gonna move forward with these characters that people are already committed to. Select new characters to kind of have people invested in. So I'm just really excited that it feels like the show is progressing with every episode. Renee, how do you feel about that?
So I said this like last time we spoke about Industry, but I really feel like Industry is like defining like it's a new paradigm for drama. I still liked last week's episode the most because they were out of Pure Point, they were Berlin, or like the way that Yasmin was saying, on the continent. Like, that shit had me weak as hell. Like, I was just talking about how privileged Yasmin is. She was like, oh, doesn't it feel good to be on the continent? I'm like, isn't Berlin the same continent as London? But I like last week's episode to me, once again, I love like the family, like the dynamics. But this episode, I felt like they didn't waste a second.
Not one.
Honestly,
Okay.
I'm kind of glad it's not like an hour long because I would have I would have needed a beta blocker if it was an hour long.
I'm telling you. I love that you said that because season 5 or episode 5 really was a lot. I know you said that a lot of times in our conversations that is your favorite episode, but this episode did not miss one beat in television. Okay, there was not one beat where I could like take a good breath, and in the moments where I was trying to take a breath, there were beautiful like just shots from the directors and the DPs or whatever you want to call it, just like sitting in the moments with some of these characters. For instance, Rishi, is it Rishi? It's Rishi, right? And Harper having that like moment regarding Jesse Bloom. Obviously, the Yasmin and Celeste moment. Like those were beats that we got, but they were just so high stakes, so much high tension that I mean, we this episode did not skip anything. And I honestly thought about it and I was like, this space we can actually craft and discuss almost like scene by scene, honestly. Sometimes in previous rooms, I've had it to where we just address the first scene. I did this a lot for Euphoria. And Renee, that reminds me of your bar about this show being the love child of Euphoria and Succession. And it was just so funny hearing you say that because I also just find the Succession elements and the intelligence and the family richness and issues and insecurities and drugs, obviously, but just like with a touch more like levity, not levity per se, but it's a little bit more, it's a little bit closer to like what we understand as millennials, I guess. So I think we can talk about short to the point of pain. And I love episode titles. I do this a lot in my spaces. I love episode titles because they really do. I find how the theme connects in a lot of the dialogue. And there was short to the point of pain. I think that really defines who Harper is. Harper is short to the point of pain, and not just pain inflicted on others, but she be causing her own self, a lot of strife for no reason. Renee, how do you feel about that?
So I decided to look up what a short squeeze is because, I like need to get out of debt. So a bitch needs to become a good retail investor. And like, I'm just saying. And as I've become a real investor, I was like, okay, what's this short squeeze shit? Because I remember like last year, and one thing that I think there's a lot of things I think industry does well, but industry has done a really great job in showing how fucked these like Wall Street banks, these big business institutions were when during the pandemic, us little retail investors said, hold on, we're gonna try and fuck like we're gonna try and fuck the system. So I was like, what's a short squeeze? Because I remember GameStop did the short squeeze. And it was like funny because Jesse's like, they fucked me on games. They
Yep.
fucked me on GameStop too. So a short squeeze, and this is like based off like Investopedia. So they basically say they see this stock and they decide to borrow somebody's shares because they say, oh, this stock is bullshit. This company is bullshit. The company is going to go down. So what you are so confident the company is going to go down, you borrow somebody's stock, and then let's say the stock starts off at 100. If the stock drops to 70 because like you said it's a worthless stock, you get to resell the stock back to the person who you borrowed the shares from and pocket $30. So this is really just like a rich person's game of betting against like somebody and just believing like because you're rich and you have money to lose and you also believe you're intelligent and you're picking the best things that are going to lose, you then short the stock.
Yep. Yep. And think.
That's
Go ahead.
yeah. So that like I just had to like look that up because first I was also confused because once again I'm a little retail investor. I used to be like people used to say that like the market only moves like super early, like the market only moves late at night if you're like really fucking rich. But because of like these like brokerage accounts and like the E-Trade, once again, retail investors like that don't just use Robinhood, they can actually make trades. So I really liked how industry was like realistic to like, this is the bullshit, and not even bullshit. This is just what the stress that like somebody in Harper's shoes was dealing with.
Yeah, and I like that kind of like background and little quick little investment banking lesson that you gave us, because I was reading about the creators of the show on Vanity Fair, and they were talking about how this show is cathartic for them regarding their previous lives in investment banking, you know, with the hedge fund managers and everything like that. And I really like that you brought up the GameStop situation to kind of see how industry takes like things that have actually happened, and the creators kind of incorporate like real life situations and then kind of fantasize and create the fiction around that still feels very real. And I think when you're saying that they're setting a new standard for drama, Renee, I think that's what that is. We talk, as a writer myself, we talk a lot about how are we going to incorporate the pandemic, how are we going to incorporate our real life experiences, the shift that a lot of these cultures, countries, and people are experiencing, right? And work it into our TV show that it feels real and not trite. And I was reading about them on Vanity Fair, and they talked about like the GameStop and explosion of cryptocurrency. And Mickey Down was like, the idea of like the Robin Hoods and the GameStop, you remember on this app alone in 2020, 2021, I believe it was, time is like a social construct at this point that I can't even keep up with. But like there was a lot of financial conversations. And remember there was like those investors. What was the name that people were making fun of, people that were like investing and trying to learn and trying to
L-
invest in things, and what were they called?
it's not LLC Twitter. I forgot
Yeah,
what it
but
was.
something else. But the creators were talking about like purposely incorporating things like that to kind of again appeal to their audience. We remember when there were people like, hey, I'm on Robinhood making this kind of money on AMC or GameStop, or there's, you know, I'm selling blockchain and I know what cryptocurrency is. I'm having these conversations. And so having that be more accessible to us, and we saw that online, now we get to see it in like a very like profound and complete TV show. And in these episodes, every time, you don't have to be an investment banker or have had this life to kind of understand the high stakes, the relationships, why Harper responds to some of the things the way she does, why like Renee, I like love that you went and like looked at what a short squeeze was. Again, this is what I do with Succession, and I'm like, what's a bear hug? I remember specifically asking like, what was a bear hug in Succession? And like industry makes me look up terms, and I told one of my friends, I said, I actually have no idea what's going on, and I know exactly what's going on. And that is why I agree with you when you say the industry, HBO, is setting a new standard for drama. There is something beautiful about being able to get people that do not have the background and financial understanding to the extent that obviously the creators do and the writers do, and still have us like, holy shit, if I don't understand, I want to go research it. I love that about television. So it was very
and
cool they did that.
and I did want to say, to answer your question, you're like, how did like that title like relate to Harper? Now
Yeah.
that I know what a short squeeze was, that's like literally how Harper moves.
Yeah.
Like with relationships.
I was saying, it's like short to the point of pain was talking about Harper, but there were also other elements of that. And Lizzie, I know you're here, and so I want to like ask you, how do you felt about the kind of title? And I feel like if you notice a lot about the dialogue, there was a lot of dialogue that referenced pain and like synonyms of pain, and just like a lot of the characters got to really show that. So how did you feel about the title with the motifs within the episode in episode 6?
Um, I feel like this episode was stressful for me, but because I think Myhala is such a great actress, just her face. Like, there's this scene where she gets smug with a DVD, and then it instantly changes to like panic.
Yep.
She's so good at expressing herself with her face. and I feel like it translates to like her stress translates to like me getting stressed, and I'm like, I don't even know what they're talking about, but I can feel her pain.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think, um, yeah, there's a lot of reference to pain, especially like in like the nonverbal.
Oh, I love that you said that. Like you can feel her pain. That like, that's a testament to her performance, but also the writing. Because I'm with you. I think I was telling Renee, if not Renee, one of my other friends. I was like, Harper will take me on a roller coaster ride. I don't know. I know exactly how they had got me watching this show continuously, but let me tell you something. Harper, this show is Harper succeeding and then fucking up, and then succeeding and then fucking up, and just it's a cyclical thing. It's hills and valleys, ebbs and flows of Harper taking us on this ride. And quite frankly, when I say it out loud, I'm like, that's fucking life. Renee, I reference back to your last comment when you were like, Monique, I used to think that Harper was a fuck up, but no, she's not a fuck up. She is a person that has fucked up, and she's, trying her best or whatever, and she's had like to respond to her environments and stuff. And I think that's exactly right. Harper takes us on these roller coasters every time. She's succeeding, she's won, and we're getting the standing ovations. And then, like, boom, she has the shit with DVD. Succeeds, standing ovation, and then boom, Jesse Bloom's like, get the fuck out of my face. I mean, this show is me just following like, Harper, please. Please, Harper. And it's very painful. It's short to the point of pain. And I think the short is also of it, the play on words there is like a lot of the wins that she has are so ephemeral. Like they're very short lived. It's like, all right, Harper did her thing and then fuck, they're gone. It's like, God damn it, Harper. But I just love the way Mahala kind of like takes us through that journey because, like you said, it's a ton of nonverbal. I think as powerful, and Renee, we talked about this, as powerful as the dialogue was this episode, the nonverbal physical acting was that girl, okay?
She acted from her hand when she pointed that pen
I'm,
down. I said, I don't know. I felt like that was like she just did like cast a spell or something.
I'm telling you, a witch, honey, a witch.
Truly.
I mean, so let's dive into the acting a little bit more. Rishi, I mean, imagine being on set for the Kenny scene, guys. The Kenny scene where Yasmin had to, be uncomfortable. I mean, come on, guys.
And then
Kenny,
also for Kenny, like the guy to play Kenny to like get to the place where he says, I'm going to act exactly this ridiculous. Wow.
oh my god, like I would have loved to be on set at that time. The actor that plays Kenny is, let me see, what is that? I would love to get the name of him. I like to know names of the artists. Who is he played by? I can't remember. But someone help me look that up so we can make sure we get that or tweet it out. But I like that scene quite a bit because they did one of the things that I love, and I think it was a commitment for this second season to really dive into who the characters were. Industry season one didn't feel like just exposition, but it was like an introductory like course to a lot of the characters and very much an introductory course to like investment banking. A lot of it is like I have no idea what's going on. But this time we got to like experience the characters and the deeper, more like insecure and weaker parts that. And I like when I like saying weaker because weaker is just like a word that we can either choose to apply ourselves or not. It's weak only if you want it to be weak. And I feel like Harper is like one of those people that's like, my weaknesses, I'm going to make them my strengths and make them a W every single time. But like, for instance, Kenny, I mean, think about who Kenny was last season, guys. We talked about this in the last space, Renee. Kenny was an awful person. And we got to really sit with Kenny this episode and this season and see like, I mean, I told you, I was like, Kenny is like, becoming a better person. Like he's the only real one that's going through a transformation. I mean, the man was crying in front of Yasmin to apologize. And he did like a whole dance. And I love what I was saying was I love that we sat with it. If you go back and count how long that was, the scene where he's dancing in front of Yasmin, it was way longer than it should have been. And it was still so profound and so necessary to create that discomfort for the transition of Yasmin going up to the 12th floor. What do you think, Renee?
So yeah. What I loved about like all of the Kenny scenes was Yasmin was a bitch to him, and he just ate it because he's actually been like, no, I get it. I was a terrible person. And I think it because like remember when she was like flirting with Celeste, which I can't wait for us to talk about that scene.
We're I'm
But
45 minutes to that alone. Okay.
yeah, so when she was flirting with Celeste, right? And she was like, "How about you go drink?" Like she just wished this man back to alcoholism. Like that's a fucking bitch. And he just walked away wanting to cry, but he was still so nice to her the next day, still trying to get her to like him, still trying to get her to forgive him.
The true markers of a good person, a character in this show that's going through a true transformation. Lizzie, do you think any other character has gone through another transformation? Has any other character like been significantly better than they were the beginning of season 2 or in season 1?
No, honestly. I think it's just Kenny, but I still don't like him though. It's
You
all cringy to me. I just kind of like, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching right now? But yeah, he's I see that he's trying, which is nice, but it's just like, he already, that first impression, or last season he made her life hell. So
He absolutely did. He absolutely did. And it's interesting how they're writing it. I really appreciate it. I make a parallel with DVD and Harper and Renee. I know you know that parallel. We could talk about that. You could lead that conversation. But it's these men that kind of do fucked up shit. What does the path to forgiveness and change and, reconstruction and trust look like? Sometimes it's like how you feel, Lizzie. It's like, nah, fuck you. Like, I remember, I don't care that you're trying to be a better person. The damage is done. And I think we talk a lot about that when we talk about like healing and like the psychological safety and like workplace, right? And I think a lot of times, and I think this was part of Kenny's monologue to Yasmin, which is extremely cringe. But I think what he was basically saying was like, a lot of times during on the path to healing, we require like some restitution. And Yasmin never got that. Kenny's still doing his damn thing, and it was only because he decided to kind of be a better person, and we didn't really get to see that transformation. We just kind of like he was bad, and then like they kind of show that he was good. We don't really know, like, did he go to therapy? We just know that he's actively trying to be a better person in the workplace, and he really feels guilt, and I think we got that this episode. But that's why he was like, Yasmin, like, I'm truly truly sorry, like, please just give me a chance before you go up there. Like, I know ultimately I didn't really suffer anything outside of what I chose to decide and to be better in. And I think that's a big conversation when, men harm women in the workplace or in personal lives. Like, what does forgiveness actually look like? And I'm glad that the writers didn't make Yasmin just like, oh, it's okay, Kenny. They kind of had her flex. I don't know if y'all remember, but within her response was basically like, oh, sweetie, like, I've been lucky in a lot of other places. Like, honestly, the restitution, like, seeing you fall doesn't really matter. Which is basically, she was like, baby, I'm a rich fucking wealthy woman. I don't need to work. So if you were going to be a bitch to anybody in the workplace, like, I'm good. I don't need this fucking job for my livelihood. I'm here to like make my own name and try to like make sure I'm not under daddy and mommy's money all the time. So I think that was really, really, really cool for the show to do that. Renee, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, so I actually thought that when she was saying to him, because I thought about that line, like I loved how the writers like, remind like let us know that Yasmin knows she's privileged. Like, oh no, I'm like, she's like, I've had a lot of wins. But like just like the way that the character delivered those lines, since like we're talking about the acting, I actually felt like that was what she said to herself that night to try to cope with what Kenny did.
Yeah, because
She was pretty fucked up over Kenny.
yeah, and she apologized to him too, that what she did like last season or earlier last episode or earlier that episode, right? Didn't she apologize
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
yeah, the next morning.
Yeah.
Like I think she was like really just like fucked up about it. So I like when she said that, I really feel like, yeah, like she was unintentionally flexing because like her whole life is a flex. Like she has to appear a
Big
terra.
moves.
Right. So she was just like, Like that's what she had to say to herself at night. Like, why is he terrible to me? It's like it's okay. It's okay. I'm still rich. I'm still pretty. I still have lifetimes of money. I'm still that bitch. It's okay. It's okay. I feel like that's what she had to say to herself.
Right. And I feel like that's why, in front, sometimes in front of your enemies and the people that hurt you, you gotta, you gotta put on a face. Like, oh no, sweetie, I'm still very lucky. But like, yeah, we didn't forget. We saw season one. We watched season one. We know how down bad you were. And honestly, I think I talked about this already, but we've seen the effects of Kenny and Yasmin through her behavior and treatment of Venetia. Like, what the fuck, Yasmin? I'm still on that. I'm still on that. I cannot believe the way she's treating Venetia. I think she's a fucking coward. And then they finally put some dialogue in there today for her to be like, oh, I know I haven't been much of a mentor like at all, but if you need anything, like let me know. And so she's kind of in a position of Kenny is with her, and they made that parallel. Like they had those scenes like back to back to kind of show like Venetia don't need you. She's good. And I'm curious if they'll have them like connect later. I'm sure they will. But like, Yasmin was in a position of being a bitch and the evil person that kind of had more seniority. And it's like, yeah, the same way you feel about Kenny is how Venetia kind of feels about you. And honestly, with a little bit less respect, quite frankly, Venetia don't have a lot of respect for you. Like, do y'all agree? Like, Venetia don't give a fuck what Yasmin is talking about.
No, I already told you my theory that like that picture that Venetia saw with like Rob and like the panties and Yasmin just like talked about it. That is going to come back. Like, what is it? Chekhov's gun? That's Yasmin Chekhov's gun.
Yes.
Like, she
Good.
about Venetia finna get Yasmin in trouble, talk about some sexual harassment.
Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? I like that theory. It's definitely Chekhov's gun, and I love that because a lot of times in my favorite TV shows, nothing that is shown is let loose or unaccounted for and unanswered. So you're absolutely right. I think there's something going to come of that photo. I don't know how far. I just know there's going to be some shit that's going to affect not only Yasmin but Rob heavily. And Rob's been. We didn't get a lot of Rob this episode, but we got a lot of Rob the last episode. He's gonna come back. It's gonna be some shit popping off with what's going on. The shit he's going through with Nicole, Harper kind of like alluded to some shit that she's going through. That picture between them, Venetia's gonna have something to say. Okay, something is going to happen. And I wanted to talk about you talking about Yasmin's privilege. Lizzie, I saw your microphone go up, so you can speak right after this. But I feel like that's been a lot of this season, Renee, is Yasmin like leaning into her privilege and recognizing it. But I think Marissa, the actress that plays Yasmin, has done it in such a way that unfortunately makes her really fucking endearing. There's probably some beautiful, like her being a beautiful person kind of plays into that. I'm not like I'm not going to admit that I'll admit that that has something to do with it. But there's an endearing kind of aspect that she adds to a lot of Yasmin's lines. But I think a lot of this is like, okay, let's level set. Miss, I want to do the greatest at this fucking job on this floor. Her privilege is now taking her up floors, literally. Like she's going up, both physically and literally. I like how they're playing with that. And now she's going to be in private wealth management or whatever with Celeste. And I think this whole season has just been like as far as Yasmin, she's not going through a transformation. We're just seeing like, okay, Yasmin is not oblivious to all of her privilege. Like, do you guys realize that in the same episode that Yasmin went up, Harper got fucking let go? Like, Harper's off the floor. Okay. And we got to talk about that. But Lizzie, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna talk about Kenny's apology. One thing that struck me was he drew a parallel to himself and Wyndham, and also how he treated Yasmin. I thought that was cool. Like he understands that he, had played a part in the trajectory of her career. Like maybe if he wasn't such an asshole, she wouldn't want to go, to the upper floor or whatever, work with Celeste. So I think that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? You reminded me, it was kind of an omen because like I think he made it. I don't remember exactly what it was. I got to go back and watch it. But he said something about like working for a boss. And you know, this happened right after we discovered like Celeste. Renee, it's time for us to talk about Celeste and Yasmin. Let's just talk about it.
Yes.
But you know, this happened right after Celeste and Yasmin had their little sexy, steamy, beautifully shot sex scenes. But remember how Yasmin felt after that. So I feel like it was just kind of like, right, a little foreshadow, a little omen, like, yeah, working for someone that doesn't care. And like, as soon as you're done, you're just going to move on. And really, like, how does your boss affect your career trajectory? And it's like, yeah, Yasmin, you finna see. And I know that we're going to get that in the next episode, but go ahead, Renee. Let's talk about Celeste and Yasmin.
Yes, I do want to say that like the way that like Marissa, who plays Yasmin, like lines, like especially when it's just like her talking about her privilege, she just says it so peacefully, like yes, it's just a pied à terre. Yes, she just comes and casually cleans every single day. My father didn't let go of her, so she just cleans. You know, it's just pleasant. She's just like yes, this is my dream world. It's amazing, isn't it? It's
Right.
wonderful. I love it. Like when she was just like talking about her damn silk pajamas. I just bought them. Like I felt joy. And it was just the happiest moment of my life.
Have you ever thought about like what you would do if like you needed money? What did she say to Harper?
She was like, have you just ever thought of new like where would you be if you didn't have money? And Harper's like, I know exactly. But yeah, no, like it's just with that being said, I definitely think it's pretty privileged. Like because like honestly, like Harper is out of pocket all of the time, but Mahala has like the most pleasant face ever. So I'm just rooting for her, you know? I'm like, she looked pleasant as hell. So Celeste, wow. First, so I guess it's like the second scene when they were like doing their like lesbian wolf on Wall Street.
Period.
And Celeste is like I don't know if you noticed how Celeste was just like holding her wrist and like looking at her eyes.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh, they were just like in an intimate moment. So like some parts of like why like Yasmin like snapped at Kenny, she's like, bro, like not only do I hate you, but you're cock blocking. So like I hate to get cock blocked.
Your clit blocking. Okay. Clit block.
Lesbians have straps too.
I don't think they did. Maybe they did. I don't know.
I'm you
But you're
either
right.
or. Coitus blocking, okay? So point is, like I get it, Yasmin. I've been a bitch before when somebody cock blocked. Like I've been a bitch. Like she got me tight.
All right. Whom's
So
to
she's
mother?
trying right. But then when they started like, oh my God, I just want to like break down. When Celeste was like, I can't wait to work on you. No, I mean with you. Sorry, my English isn't good. And Yasmin's like, bitch, you speak better English than me. Oh my God. I
And
said, not this Freudian slip.
she said, I came to the thought of you last night.
Well,
Pe-
no. We have to get to the part they started speaking in French, romance language.
Period. Know her.
And I'm actually very envious because, like, Mo, you know, my old Twitter, I was literally, because I'm learning French, you guys. And I literally was tweeting, like, hey, I want to practice French with somebody sexy and I want to flirt with sexy people in French. I was literally having a call. I made Mo retweet me, be like, my friend wants to flirt with sexy people in French. And to see people on TV living my dream,
Right. And
living my fucking dream, I was envious.
français. Le français. Definitely. I think I wanted to quickly shout out Yasmin one more time. You know I love me a Yasmin and Celeste. I love a cheating ass bitch. Go off, Celeste. But we obviously learned some things about the cheating, right? So I can't stand her as hard anymore. But I love a cheating ass bitch in television. Also in real life. That's a separate conversation. But I want to celebrate Yasmin one more time. My favorite Yasmin bar. I love when they give this whole show is a bunch of witty kind of comebacks and back and forths, and that's why I'm obsessed with it. And it really kind of it reminds me of I May Destroy You, another beautiful, amazing HBO show by Michaela Coel. And is it Michaela Cole? I think it's Michaela Cole or Michaela Coel. My apologies. But I love the way they delicately show, like when Renee and I are speaking about this, at times we're like, no, we understand why you were a bitch. We also understand your side. Like we get to understand both characters and both sides and both kind of responses. And like, you know, honestly, like if I was Eric, I would have done that too. Like we have a lot of those conversations. And I remember when Mahala or when Harper and Yasmin were having a conversation about like, bitch, we're not the same. I don't fuck with you at the beginning of the season. And Harper was like, I don't give a fuck about your little white guilt. Yasmin said, oh, no, sweetie. Oh, no. I don't feel guilty. I fucking paused that fucking TV. I said, no, she didn't. I would have beat her ass if she said that to me. But it was just so important in Yasmin's character development. Like, Yasmin doesn't feel guilty, y'all. Let's not project on this. She's not doing the white guilt thing that we know a lot of white people do. She's not doing that. She's actually just trying to figure out like what substance in her life that she has in her sexual life, in her relationships, in her career, and everything. Or is she just the daughter of a wealthy family? And I think, you know, we can't relate, but I think we can, you know, kind of, you know, maybe kind of understand. I don't know if I necessarily sympathize per se, but like I understand where someone might be on that path. So, but back to Celeste and Yasmin. There's, and I've have a lot of tweets about it. And what we watch, if you could find it, it's you probably search my name and intimacy. I think intimacy on screen is one of the most difficult things to capture, and I celebrate directors and cinematographers that do it successfully. It's kind of one of those things that's hard to recreate, right? Because you got two people that like maybe don't know each other on set trying to recreate and make the audience feel intimacy, sexuality, tension, love, confusion, nervousness, right? Everything that comes in with those like moments when you're fucking a married person, right? Like, how do you put that on television? And I think the last time I saw that done successfully was in Halle Berry's directorial debut of Bruised. There was a scene with her and the woman, you know. But anyways, there was a scene, and I think it was beautiful, and it made me feel things. I got a little sweaty, my heart started racing. I said, "This is nice." And so I was like, oh my God, the last two beautiful scenes that I saw that captured intimacy properly and were filmed so beautifully with the light kind of touching the right parts of the body. Renee, like you said, there was some romantic moments where she's touching the wrist. We're touching like quote unquote non-sexual parts of the body, but making it very like the time almost slowed down during this part of the episode. And I was like, oh my God, the last two scenes that I enjoyed were queer, you know, and or lesbian scenes on film that were captured beautifully. And I'm like, these women are acting the fuck down. And I love that. Like, truly, truly show stopping scenes in season 2, episode 6 of Industry motherfucking HBO with Celeste and Yasmin. Shout out to them. I was like, I felt like I was in that moment. And it is very, very hard for me to feel those moments in any other film or TV show that I've watched when we're having these kind of like hesitation, right? Like, even from the dialogue of her being like, do you want a drink? And Celeste declined a drink that kind of obviously adds and makes everybody a little bit more comfortable, right? You got to loosen up a little bit with a glass of wine. She was like, no, I just want some water. I need to stay hydrated. We're about to fuck, sweetie, and I need to be hydrated. Like, from that point, I was in. Lizzie, how did you feel about that scene?
It was pretty intimate, but I have a question. So if they are polyamorous, Celeste and the wife, is that considered cheating? Because she does say like, I had to tell her.
So, right. So I was saying that as someone that was watching it at the
Mm.
time, right? I
Mm.
thought they were cheating up to that point. And then, you know, me and Yasmin had the same response, quite frankly. I was like, this whole time you got me thinking you cheated? And you the more faithful one? I said, oh no. And Renee, I'm gonna let you spit your bars because you know we had this conversation. Yasmin is turned off. I said, I know Yasmin is turned off right now. She don't want this girl no more. Because Renee, and I'm let you speak your bars on that.
Yeah, so Celeste did not cheat because I don't know what you know about polyamory. Like I don't know everything because like there's you can never know everything. But I do think I know enough. You have rules in a polyamory and there are things that you agree upon. And if we define cheating as an infringement upon boundaries in your relationship that involve other people, then there can absolutely be cheating in polyamory relationships.
Right.
And so that's why when like, you know, Yasmin was just like, Celeste, I thought of you and I came. Celeste was just like, oh, okay, so we are here. And like, like Celeste was just like, it's not a good idea, but it's the best idea.
But
And right, like,
bars. Been there.
and which was a very relatable line. Like, it made me
Very
think about
relatable.
that shit. Like, whomst amongst us has not fucked somebody knowing it was the worst thing in the world, but
That's
also
very
the best
triggering.
thing to do.
Gonna go ahead and end this space now. Like
Right.
the
But
best idea and not a good idea at all. Okay.
yeah, so it was confusing why like Celeste did it, and I love how they revealed like, oh, Celeste stopped it right there and then because she wanted to be faithful to the rules of her relationship with her wife. She is faithful to her wife in the
Yeah.
confines of their relationship.
As far as we know, right? And that's why I love TV, right? Lizzie, I think again, the audience and Yasmin, and I love when the audience knows something that the characters don't, and I love when the characters know something that the audience doesn't, right? We've been taken on this journey with Yasmin and Celeste. I've had the time of my life. I don't know about y'all. I've had the time of my life with this Yasmin and Celeste situation. I have been just eager to know when they was gonna fuck. I didn't know if they would. If they made me wait until season 3, I would have been like, "That's fine. Take me on this roller coaster." But this whole time, we have been led to believe. From the moment that she said, "My wife gives me a curfew," did we not all think that it was some shit that she was in? I'm like, oh shit, that girl, yeah, she be on some bullshit. And so we were all led up to believe until she said, "Oh, actually, you think that I'm stepping out of my marriage? My wife is the one that set these boundaries, okay? She's the one that was like, we're going to be married, but we're going to be open." And I think that dialogue is going to come back because they specifically, Celeste wanted to like, dis, I don't know how to put it, but like she did not want to marry herself to the idea of being an open relationship. She wanted to make sure there was a disconnect there that she had in her marriage. I like to call myself polyamorous. Open relationship is what my wife uses. I like to call myself polyamorous. And Renee, I feel like I know even less about you with regards to polyamory. But in my head, the reason why she said that was because there is that suffix, right, in polyamory, amour. Like there is more amour that Celeste has in her relationships when she steps out of it, right? So it's multiple amours, multiple loves, right? And she's like, not, it's not just an open relationship for her. And so I think like you were saying, Renee, she had like a point where she had to set a boundary. But so we were all taken on this journey. Me, you, everybody in this room, and Yasmin was like, "Oh, she cheating. Oh, okay, Yasmin, got a woman cheating on her wife." And then Celeste was like, "Actually, yeah, no, I'm actually like the one that's like trying to figure out what the fuck going on." She said this, but I like it, and she admitted that, right? Her dialogue was like, "Look, I like this. It's nice to be in a marriage, right? I think she said it. It's nice to be in a marriage without all the confines and the limits." But like, sweetie, you are not just this like little dirty secret, which is what Yasmin likes, right? Yasmin likes the dominance. Yasmin likes the power that she has in a lot of her sexual relationships. That's why she couldn't, she didn't enjoy anything but being on top of a person and having that like, dominant kind of kinks and ideas. I think I hope I'm being politically correct or correct in these conversations. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's the kind of relationship that she's been having. And then Celeste comes around and she's picking shit up off the floor after Celeste asked her to. I said, oh my God, this bitch, she done become submissive real quick. And I think she fucking liked that. But then there was still a power dynamic when it was revealed that Yasmin had her little face scrunched up when she found out that Celeste was actually not cheating. Do you know how problematic that is? I mean, big mood, but do you know how problematic that is? For you to be like, oh, wait, you not cheating? Like, you told your wife about this? Like, I don't know. What do you think, Renee?
So I like my theory on like Yasmin is because Yasmin is so privileged and so used to getting everything. She's just so used to being like number one. And Celeste was attractive to her when she felt like she was like winning a thing or proving herself or proving a worth. Now that she knows that Celeste has like a better character than like Yasmin, because Yasmin's character is kind of like foul, respectfully. Like the shit that she with Rob, like she feels good where she feels good, where she only knows how to feel good currently, is by showing that she is better than other people. Her sense of worth is derived by being on top. She does not have an internal barometer for sense of worth, which is why if she fails, it like mortally wounds her. Because Celeste is no longer some prize that she like felt like she conquered, I feel like Yasmin is turned off on by it.
Yeah. I think though Yasmin is not the only one in this show that kind of only feels good in charge and on top. I
I
think
mean,
that's
that's everybody
yeah, I think it's literally everybody on this show.
except
But
Gus. Actually,
except
Gus had a transformation. I did want to say Gus had a transformation, and also, I remember last week you were like, "What do Harper and Mahala have in like not Harper, like what do Harper and Yasmin have in common?" And
that's
I'm
it.
like, and you know what else they also have in common? They are fucking their bosses and fucking up. Do not shit where you eat.
Look,
These girls are down bad.
I was
That's
telling
so accurate.
I was telling Renee last night, I said, this episode might be about what happened when you fuck your boss now. Now, you think you at the top now, Harper. All right. I told y'all Harper keeps taking me on these roller coasters, and I don't know why I'm so committed. I love to see Harper go up and go down. I don't know what it is. But Harper thought she had it done. And we can talk about it. Are we done with the Celeste and Yasmin conversation? We can always come back to it.
I'm trying to, oh, I just want to say that sex scene was filmed beautifully.
Beautifully. Perfect.
It was amazing. It felt Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I was
Mm,
just into it.
giving. A beautiful movie, by the way. Highly recommend. Thank you for joining What We Watch. Please follow What We Watch Film TV at the top. Just click. Highly recommend Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Again, basically a Yasmin and Celeste with no money. Or actually, that's a lie. There's a ton of money in that, but money is not the aspect of their relationship. It's art. So yeah, definitely highly recommend. Um,
But Harper, this is the thing. I want to say this about Harper. If I am understanding the little things that the writers have been setting up throughout this whole season, Harper is right about Rycan. She gave Jesse Bloom the best advice to short the stock for Fast Aid, but nobody is going to believe her because it's such a wild ass thing to expect, but it's literally just her instincts. And we've gone to set up because, Gus, we heard them say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna give Rykan the contract. We're definitely not giving Fasay. We not giving no shit to Bezos." So
right.
Harper's fucking right, but she doesn't know that she's right. She just believed in it.
Yep. And here's the thing. I think that's why we have those. I fully agree. I think that's why we have the dialogue where she's like, Bloom just likes me because I nod my head and say, yes, I'm a third year analyst. She had like, that was like one of the rare moments where she kind of like self deprecated. It wasn't real self deprecation. It was just like kind of telling the facts. But I fully agree with you, Renee. I think we're setting it up to where, I mean, obviously we know that Harper eventually wins, even though she'd be taking L's right after those W's. Whom's among us, right? Whom's among us, that's life. But I think she's definitely right about what she did initially. Because, right, this is like over 3 episodes now that we're doing this Jesse Bloom kind of thing in this relationship. Actually, the entire season. But really kind of hitting home with like the fast date and the Rycan and the page 27 drama. I fully agree with you. I think Harper is definitely about to have a big win, but I like that they're setting it up that it may be at the expense of Pure Point. And I think that's why her conversation with Eric Tao was so important because Eric just said kind of something one off like, girl, it's the relationship with the clients. Who gives a fuck? Pure Point, CS, MS, who cares what bank it is, what company you're at? It's Harper and that. And of course, this is a completely different tune that Eric Tao has been singing the last fucking 8 episodes. Because this motherfucker had been about the company about Pure Point just 2 episodes ago. He was preaching to her. Now that he's in client relationship management, CRM, he's like, girl, take Jesse Bloom and go. And Harper did exactly that. And I love that they're preserving that relationship. I think when we saw Eric Tao go to a different floor, we're like, okay, what is this dynamic going to look like between him and Harper? And we're seeing that it's going to come right on back around, right? How did this episode end? She in the seat with him talking. And he's like, all right, let's chat. I love that. That relationship keeps me alive. I love me some Eric Tao with this show, so I need Eric Tao in this show at all times. So I'm glad that Harper Crazy Ass is staying with that. with that being said, I, let's touch a little bit on this Gus situation. I think Gus, so Yasmin and Harper, we're discovering why they have this tumultuous, weird ass fucking relationship. There's definitely no homoeroticism there that I feel per se. Harper likes herself a little too much, feels herself a little too much. I think Yasmin would be down. That's just my little theory. But Harper would never let her do that, I don't think. Um, but I think we finding out that they have what they share in common is like their hunger for power and being on top, and that's where they feel that. And with Gus, I don't know. Maybe Gus did go through a transformation, Renee, but he about to double back. My guy's about to relapse. My guy's about to be like, all right, I tried to change. I think I can change, but like, you know what? I did enjoy the rush of that bullshit that I was in season one. So maybe he did go through a transformation in a way, but he's about to go right back. You know, like what's that little meme where the bunny is like, where Bugs Bunny is looking at the Bible? He's like, Gus is about to be back on his bullshit. I can already tell. Like he low key already was by fucking Jesse Bloom's son, but I think Gus is about to be back on his bullshit. What you think?
I don't. Um, I don't. I think Gus is deal. I think what this show is showing is the pressures of being in an immigrant family, and how when you actually want to do what you really like, there's things that you really want to do, and then there's things that your family forces you to do because they want you to think about making money and what they believe to be successful, when success is just actually feeling good. I don't think Gus is going. I think Gus is like has current is like currently just like feeling the guilt that a lot of us like immigrants can feel when our parents are like, be the doctor, be the lawyer, be the X, Y, and Z. But he's definitely a lot different, because I remember like in season one, he was so cocky. He was just so certain because he's so intelligent. And he just like wore his degrees on his sleeve. He like, or I remember when he was like fucking that like white man who had a girlfriend as a beard, and he was like, I remember you wrote you're gonna be prime minister, you're on Margaret Thatcher's blah blah blah. Like he was just this like overachiever, and this like overachiever, but just for the sake of like the concept of overachieving. And then seeing like Hari die, and like seeing how like
Yes.
like, nah, Gus has been going through like the quietest of like transformations, which I think is like what we're seeing right now with like him and his hair. Like niggas
Yes.
aren't wearing blue hair if you're working in corporate America
I,
or
you
corporate UK. Like they
know,
not
I
like
was
he
confused by the blue hair and the from Jump, and then he cut it off. I said, okay, we're going through something here.
yeah, so I like I do think like right now he is like in a I do think like right now he is in a place where he is like being like, maybe I do need to start taking myself more seriously, but I don't think he's ever going to revert back to like the previous Gus, where like I feel like if he takes himself seriously and becomes successful in a thing, it's because he wanted to, not because he's doing what he was told he should do.
Yeah, and I appreciate the immigrant conversation. As you know, as children of immigrants, first gen immigrants, we're like, you know, either an engineer, doctor, or lawyer. I think he's going to be back on his bullshit because of the pressures, and I think that the parallel there is kind of like you're saying, like the transformation and whomst among us, right? Like we all know, like we can say that our transformations are only because of the things that we've learned about ourselves, but there are often external factors that affect us and like say, okay, damn, what am I not happy about? And like you talking about the Hari's death, that was one of them that like kind of fucked with Gus quite a bit, and you saw how close he was to that. But not only that, it was when he didn't get, I don't think it was a promotion, but when he met that author and whoever it was, that big guy that he was introduced to by his boss, and he kind of like dropped the ball and like he didn't really make it anywhere. And I think there was a lot of external factors that affected Gus and like his dreams, because I think he did like certain aspects of what he was doing. Like I think he liked the access he got to a lot of the people that he was talking to. I think he did like to wear his degrees on his sleeve. I think obviously part of it was like his family, where he came from, and the pressures, but I think he did like a lot of it. And I think after those, that external factor of like seeing that maybe he wasn't going to make it to the top as fast as he want to, and then seeing like how people are actually fucking bitches and stressed all the time, I'm going to just chill in my house, during this pandemic and not be on y'all's bullshit. Go try, and how he's trying to like help people, right? With that relationship with that guy that has a little bitty phone. What's his name? I forget that guy, but like we're seeing him participating in like like low key social work, right? Or maybe high key social work and helping Jesse Bloom's son, but also fucking him. I think there's still elements of him that still exist that's why I say like I think he is gonna eventually be back on his bullshit. But I think Renee, you're right to like maybe not to the extent because I think that's how life works. You can be back on your bullshit, but not to the same extent. He has a lot more information now, right? He's equipped with much better tools to handle what life throws at him in these next couple of seasons that we get. So I've been curious about the Gus character this entire season because I feel like there's a lot of new characters around him that I don't know how they're going to affect. And so I feel like there's going to be a big play, a big move with Gus because Gus is a core series character in this show. And so I feel like there's going to be a big move back into the crazy drama chaos of this show.
I told you, Gus is going to be back into drama because Harper is going to get him fucked up with some inside trading.
I don't disagree. Lizzie, how do you feel about that? And I want to welcome Dwayne Face to the stage. Welcome, welcome. Lizzie, how do you feel about Gus? Are you kind of like in the middle? How do you feel about Gus?
I think because this was such a stressful, like charged episode for me, I kind of it didn't hold that much weight. Like Gus's scenes were kind of like, okay. But I do get the whole pressure from being coming from an immigrant family. I liked to see that and get a little backstory on his family, and also when his sister's like, his lifestyle is kind of tolerated. You know what I mean? As long
Yep.
as you are successful, I felt that.
Yep.
um, uh, it I felt like that was pretty accurate in any immigrant family. Like, you can do your shit, but just meet our expectations.
Still not particularly supportive because it's like, yeah, whatever you want, but also make sure you're doing what we want. Okay,
right,
cool.
right, but I want to see where his story goes. I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
But I think it's getting stronger for Gus. Like, his story arc is getting a little stronger, so I'm excited to see what's in store for the next episode.
I appreciate you saying that so much because like I understand the as that you're saying, but I think with in like an storyline in industry is like still fantastic, right? An story arc in industry HBO is still fantastic. I'm still super invested. That's why I think we're gonna get everything. I think they're aware that in comparison to what's going on with other characters, we're getting a lukewarm kind of, and I don't want to think it's lukewarm in a negative way. I think we're getting like a slow, gradual build to whatever Gus is going to reemerge as. And we're getting the long scenes with him and his sister, right? Like, why are we getting so many scenes with him and his sister, right? It's to show like this immigrant and the pressures that Gus is experiencing. And that's a juxtaposition with what Yasmin's experiencing and with what with what Harper is experiencing and with what Rob is experiencing. I think both of you reminded me that like Gus's family issues weren't particularly highlighted in the family issues episode where it was obvious for everybody else. And so in this episode is where we got the complexities of Gus's life behind his career, right? We got Harper with her brother, we got Yasmin with her dad and her, low-key pedophilic bullshit that he got going on. We got Rob with, his fake semi-dad dying and, dealing with the uncle and shit. We didn't really get too much of Gus's family. We had met the sister, but this episode we sat with the sister and Gus, and the sister talked a lot about Gus and was really Gus just sitting there listening, and then like a lot of cultural aspects of that. So that was really cool. Dwayne Face, welcome to the stage. I saw you heard us talking about Gus, baby. I feel like you came up. What do you feel about Gus?
All right, so I'm pulling from people that I've met throughout my life. All right, we got a guy that has a lot of FU money, an intellectual, has a lot of resources. So pretty much he has the capabilities to do what he wants. The character in the story, I view it as a person that, because of all of those things he has, He's just taking advantage of that luxury and just let life make the decisions for him.
I agree.
And and you know, he's young. Also, the character is a young person, so it's like, all right, so because of stuff outside of my control, we had a person that died. I can't control that. Political stuff got me out of my job. I can't control that. But you know
Right.
what? I have resources. I'm not worried about it. I'm young. Let me play with my hair and just chill for however long I feel like it. But now I guess because his sister is the one that's, how do you say, putting the fork in the road with him, like which way are you going to go, right or left? I think I view it now as he's about to start making decisions to guide his life to the place that he wants it to be versus sitting back for the ride.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that. Whom's among us, honestly. I mean, that is a thank you for like defining what Gus's privilege kind of looks like, right? Because I think we were talking about Eric Tao talking about he don't want a promotion last couple episodes, and look where he is now. He's like, ah, got this goddamn promotion, fuck it. And it's like Renee, you were like, I don't have them same problems, but even Gus had that dialogue with what is it, the senator? What is she? Representative, whatever she is. I need to be better about that character as well around Gus. But he said to her, he was like, "I don't know if I'm going to take this. I don't know if I want to go on this journey with you, ma'am." And so, like, I think you're right. There's a way that he's like experiencing his luxury that may not look on the surface like Yasmin's luxury that she's experienced or whatever. Lizzie, you had your hand up.
Oh yeah. So another point that I wanted to make was the interaction with Gus and his sister. You can obviously tell, and I'm pulling from like immigrant experience as well. You can tell that she's representing her parents' views. Like her parents were like, "Okay, talk to your brother," the same way that she tries to get Gus to talk to their brother to do well. So I think that was pretty accurate as well.
Yeah, shout out to it's clear that she might be the eldest. Is she the eldest sibling? I think she is. Shout out to like the eldest sibling of a family that's like mom and dad, da 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 da, and this is what we should do, and like yeah, do whatever you want, but like don't come out here acting like you ain't got the skill set to succeed out here. You want bullshit right now. And it's always that idea, right? Now I'm getting a little triggered. Let me get my moment real quick. It's always that idea of like when people around you, especially your family, like know your quote unquote potential and know what you're capable of. If you're not always operating at that highest level, then we're going to have a conversation. Okay. I built this for you. I made this for you. You have succeeded in this many ways at this point in your life. Why are you on a different path right now? What the fuck are you doing? That's basically what the sister was saying. So definitely. I want to celebrate the director, Caleb Femi, in this episode. Again, just capturing these moments with just two actors on screen, Yasmin and Celeste, Harper and Rishi, Harper and DVD, quite fucking frankly. Gus and his sister. I really, really appreciate the way this episode was shot. It felt just as chaotic, but there was like an element of romance that like kind of hovered over the general like feel of this episode that made it like that's why I feel like this is one of my favorite episodes, if not my favorite episode, because there was a bunch of fucking chaos, but it wasn't just like investment banking chaos, it wasn't money chaos, it wasn't client relationship chaos. It was like but the romanticization of the chaos a little bit more. So, anyways, Renee, what did you have to say about Short to the Point of Pain?
So I do feel like the show, like this episode, was very romantic, but I think it's because we finally got the Yasmin and Celeste payoff, like, and it was a satisfying payoff. And then like the end, like you thought they were just gonna have sex. It's like, oh no, now Yasmin finna feel crazy as hell because she finding out Celeste faithful in her marriage, and she feels more like a prop. She just feels special. So I'm like, oh my god, the drama is going to continue. Um, Actually, I want to say that DVD is the fucking Regina George of Pierpoint. Cause that nigga stay on three way. That nigga stay listening to a fucking phone call.
Let's talk about
And like we
it. You know what?
like
I like
he
DVD.
like yo, that nigga stay scheming. I want to say like I rewatched the episode like the second time. And when Harper was on the phone being fake as hell to DVD smiling, and he listening and his face reacting, and you see the actor like trying to pretend that he's controlling a reaction, like it felt so realistic. Like you just like Harper doesn't even realize what's happening because she's so focused on scheming. That was filmed so good. And so then when like then it was interesting, right? Because I remember Harper was like, Yasmin, let's not bring our personal issues into the workplace, please, right? And then that's what
They
DVD did. That's part of why that
literally
nigga was listening. He
Yep.
was mad. He was mad as hell when he asked her, did you fuck somebody else when you went to Berlin? And she said, what if I fucking did? What you fucking gonna do? That nigga has been hurt since then. You cannot. And it was like, Harper, though, you're fucking your boss. Why are you talking spicy to your boss?
You about to lose your job. Oh, wait, you just lost your fucking job.
He said, get off your bloomy. Get off my fucking floor. I
No,
said,
but
drop your
the way
dick on
he
the
said it,
table.
the way he said it very calmly first, and she didn't budge. He said, "Oh, this bitch think I'm playing. Get off of my floor, child." When the camera panned to her finger on that computer,
The way she not even frantically, but she was like, I need to turn off this computer right the fuck now and fucking walk. And she was trying to walk like she was not throwing up
she
and
was not
crying internally. She was
broken.
throwing up and crying.
You know she was crying. It's like she's like that meme with the with the face with the happy face just crying in the background with the happy face mask. You know she was. I said I know for a fact they play all day. This director play all day. They zoomed in on her hand pressing that camera screen off. I said they play all day. Harper is out of here. But let's talk about DVD because I thank you, Renee. Great reference. I'm telling you, DVD got on my nerves, and I I think you realized that I had said that last week. I said, nah, this shit not gonna go well. Harper gonna play in DVD's face, and DVD gonna put his dick on the table. And here we are. I thought it would take a little bit longer than that, and it did not. Uh, she thought that shit was sweet. She thought that the pussy was good, and it might have been. But sweetie, when you fuck your boss and you then hurt his feelings, and let's address that real quick. But then you then hurt his feelings, you know, a Wharton nigga is gonna act like the way he does, and Renee, I know you're triggered, but it
I
is.
mean, like DVD, I swear to God, like he is. I've met enough of these little Ivy League B school niggas. I just want to say, shout out to the creators. I know they thought of somebody in particular when they
Oh yeah,
designed DVD. I
each
know
of
they
the
did.
represents somebody. They took the care, baby. They did the console. They
Listen, like
did
no, like DVD,
they did
like
the
literally. I saw a tweet that was like, I know DVD's biracial because he says cock. I said, accurate,
who's
accurate. Like like the writers. Congratulations. I
congratulations.
support.
Not congratulations on getting Ivy school niggas in sexual relationships correct.
Down to the
And
T.
talk about it though, because here's my thing. Again, I was talking about earlier, and not necessarily a gray area, but just like a hashtag. I need to hear both sides. Renee, was like, Monique, watch this episode. Let me know what you think. You need to send me your updates. You need to respond. And y'all, I like to like watch my TV show, zoom in, tunnel vision, and then like watch another one. So I text her on the second watch. But I was watching the DVD situation, and I said, now hold on now. DVD feels a way about how Harper is behaving on his floor. And the reason why he feels so close to this is because, again, we can lie all day. A lot of us in this room would like to lie that sex ain't got nothing to do with this. It's not going to change nothing. Yes, it will on both ends of both parties. Okay, whether he want to admit it or not, DVD, you feel away. You felt away. That's why you got on that phone and you listened to Harper and one of the biggest clients at Pierpoint, Jesse Bloom, and you sat in there and you heard her doing what she was doing, and you actually didn't try to stop it. And that's why Harper had her little, quick little jab back at him. Excuse me? So I'm a bitch, but you was listening? If you was listening, then what does that make you for you to let this happen? Oh, I wanted to see who you really were. Okay, that sounds like feelings talking, sweetie. That's not professional. What you mean I wanted to see who you really were? What you talking about? boy, if you don't take care of Pierpoint's money, Mr. Money Man, I said no. I said no. DVD feels away. And so Harper, on the other hand, also felt away, not particularly because of DVD, but I have to, here's the thing, guys. Let's put yourself in Harper's shoes for one moment. Let's go back because Renee was like, Monique, she says I'm crazy to DVD. I like the way Renee presented it to me. I was like, all right, let's see. But honestly, I have to level set with Harper. If you are fucking a man, and we all knew, I called it, I said Harper's gonna eat this man alive, he gonna hurt his feelings, she gonna hurt his feelings. If you are fucking a man that you know you don't really care that much about, girlies, or men that fuck men as well, and you come back from a huge family issue, right? The family issues was a huge theme of the last episodes. You come back and you know you're reeling, you're struggling, you're probably gonna fall into a depression over your brother. And the nigga that you fucking asks you if you was fucking somebody else, honestly, I was very triggered. I had to quickly pause at that point because I would have responded the same way Harper did, if not a little bit more violent, quite frankly. How fucking arrogant. And what did you do this last weekend while I was in Berlin that the only thing you was worried about is me fucking somebody else? Okay. I have a life, sweetie. I said, so, on both ends, both of them was in their feelings about a lot of shit regarding this relationship. And I think Harper is going to feel the effects of it a little longer, which, like Renee, like you said, is why you don't fuck your boss. That's why you don't fuck your boss. Ultimately, who's going to really struggle after this? That's why Harper is scrambling to make plays with Jesse Bloom right now. That's my little spiel. Honestly, DVD had to put his dick on the table. I get it. Harper, I also understand why you had to hurt that man's feelings. Because what are you talking about? What if I did fuck somebody else? Now I'm mad because I wasn't. I wasn't even thinking about sex. But of course, you think that that's the only reason I wouldn't be talking to you right now or feel away. Like, right, Renee? Like, you know how I feel about it.
I
Mm-mm.
mean, this is the thing, Harper. This is the thing. I see why Harper did it. She was
Yep.
still out of pocket though, because remember, it's truthfully Harper snapped at him because she doesn't know how to deal with her feelings about her brother who hates her. Because she snapped at Yasmin, she snapped at everybody. Harper just mad as hell, and she just want to beat people up because she can't
And
beat
that's
her
why she's
brother
so,
up, and she can't beat her mom up. She could have told DVD, I don't want to talk about it. She ain't have to say, what
that's
do
why
y'all fucking
she's in the
do?
consequences.
That's
That's what you get. That's what
once
happened.
again,
Yep. Go ahead.
yeah. So this is with that being said, though, it was just so sad how DVD sincerely asked the question. He was just like, did you like he was like stuttering. Did you have sex with somebody else and that's why you're not talking to me? DVD was just, I like you. Do you like me?
I said,
Harper's like, no,
brother,
I don't like you, you stupid ass nigga. DVD was mad as hell. DVD, Harper hurt his feelings and he was just like, Harper, I I still got a job for you, okay?
you
I'm saving you. I'm saving you. You're gonna come to New York, okay? I
ain't,
got you.
ain't
Like
nothing.
all he was trying to do was give her employment because he liked her and he liked fucking her in the Aston, and she then had to go.
Honestly, I hate when people make me have me aligned with, but who other than a DVD ass motherfucker to make me align with Harper? I said, no, Harper, I understand why you said that. I said, Harper, not you, sir. And then he gonna right after that conversation be like, hey, let's keep things out of the workplace. Boy, I will slap the shit out of you. Did you just say keep things out of the workplace? And on this elevator up here, you was asking me if I was fucking somebody else? What are you talking about? And now I lost my job? Like, this is why I love TV, right? This is why I'm able to just sit and wallow in television and just have the time of my little life. Can you imagine? Just imagine yourself in Harper's shoes for just a couple of moments. Think about our poor sweet baby Harper, our favorite girl, going through what she just went through. She goes to Berlin. She asks Eric Tao that she just lost her boss, her weird ass advocate. That's a very kind of finicky, fickle relationship there. But like in a way, she knows like Eric Towers are back. She goes to Berlin. She gets the thing. She gets to see her brother. It's a terrible. It ends terribly. She comes back from fucking her boss a couple of times, or I guess like one of the big dogs on the. I don't know if it's like a direct boss, but clearly it is enough because Eric is gone. She kind of didn't really get to really like. I think what ended up happening is she didn't realize she was fucking her boss. I think we as an audience realized that, But she thought since she had fucked him before, he was her boss, technically through Eric or whatever, because Eric was her boss. Now Eric is gone. I think baby girl, misread the dynamics a touch, and DVD had to like check her ass. But within 24 to 48 hours, you fuck your boss. He feels a way about you fucking other people in Berlin. You and your brother, that she said that she's living for her brother. And this is how the trip ended after she told her brother she was basically living for him. He's like, girl, fuck you. Imagine how that feels. And you get there, the stock or whatever, the stock price is not going to zero from the fast aid short that you just sold to, or that you just got Jesse to buy, or whatever the hell it is. And now you lost your job. All of that happens within 24 hours. Sex life, who knows what's going on? Career, who knows what the fuck's going on? Family life, who knows what the fuck's going on? What does my girl Harper have at this point? That's why she's scrambling at a live show for Jesse Bloom in his dressing room. And you have that really hard situation where Jesse gets a call from his son, who he's also struggling with in his family life. And he's like, girl, get the fuck out of my face. I'm talking to my son, my family. What is Harper going to do after that? Harper doesn't have anybody right now. She doesn't have really anything. And that's where she goes. Who does Harper go to when she ain't got nobody?
Eric.
Eric motherfucking Tao.
Eric held her. Listen, Eric is the most stable
Eric,
relationship. That's the realest nigga in her life.
real. Exactly. That's why that's my nigga. I love me some Eric Tao.
It's insane because everybody thought Eric and Harper was fucking, and they were not fucking. And look how Eric took care of her, and still takes care of her when they're not fucking.
It is
and look how DVD did her.
It's beautiful though, right? Because they talked about this. The reason why they're level setting right now too, even in their bullshit, which Eric always gonna have her back. As fickle as that relationship is, it's not fickle in a sense of trust and like a safety net. Eric is, like you're saying, Renee, like legit the realest, most stable relationship that Harper has, and that's saying a lot because it's a pretty unstable relationship. That being said, they are aligned. They're on their common enemy type beat. All right. Eric said, nah, DVD fucked me over. Now, guess what Harper's like? DVD fucked me over. Like, they're like, hey, we're on the same page. DVD does not know what is about to come to him. When Eric and Harper are linking up, you know you got to be careful with motherfuckers like that.
Bad bitches link up.
You know you got to be careful motherfuckers link up over a person that hurt them in ways,
Optimus Prime.
DVD. I've been very concerned. I've been like a little, DVD older than me, but I've had a concern like a mother over DVD. I said, DVD, you in some shit that you're not supposed to be in. Your little cute little chubby cheek face, you little cute little sweet boy. You want
Dimples 2024.
I said, DVD about to get ate the fuck up. And he don't even know it because he's good at his job. He's damn good. He has the right people. He has the right network. DVD don't know what's coming.
DVD's gonna be like, send me back to New York.
DVD don't know what's coming at Pierpoint. Someone help DVD, please. Lizzie, did you have anything to say about this? I know I've been talking a lot. My bad. Thank you so much.
I like DVD just because he brings like a different energy to the cast, I guess. But yeah.
What is that different energy, if you don't mind me asking? I'm not saying I disagree. I like really expect.
I think even after the meeting with Jesse, right? He's still like trying to be professional. Like even after like the whole relationship thing, like you can tell like he's like, okay, we have a good working relationship. You could just tell me like I can help you. Like tell me if you have a problem. I think that's something that you don't necessarily see in that kind of power dynamic. Like he's trying, you know? So I like that. I like that he's not like full on asshole, like some of the other bosses. But also, I think that, don't you guys think that DVD can see Harper's like talent? Like even in bringing her to New York, I don't think it's solely based on like, oh, they had sex. I feel like all these men can see Harper's talent.
No, like definitely her talent. Like she's definitely super talented. But like I think it's like the talent part, and then also I don't even think it's just like sex. I actually just think he likes her because they had like a heart to heart when they were like talking about like, yeah, I never feel good enough. I never do this. Like I actually think DVD was just like, yo, I'm about to save a black girl.
I
So
I agree. I really like their dialogue. Like, and also I don't know. I like seeing like smart black men on TV, like the acting. Um but yeah, and also like they have that bond because they're both from like New York, the United States, which is a different dynamic from all the other cast from London.
Do you have examples of other like successful smart black men on television? I feel like I find it interesting that you said that because I feel like I have a few examples, but now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. Like in TV, we sometimes
Think of
don't get like
one.
the innocent part of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also like he's not an asshole. Like you can tell like he's not like innocent, but he's not like full on asshole. And
He's
he's
definitely not. He's definitely not innocent, right? Because I think we
mhm,
were alluding to quite a bit of that. That's why he done fucked over
mhm,
Harper in the same
mhm.
episode that he was supposedly trying to like protect her. He felt away. He got mad, and he tried to mask it as a peer point conversation. When, again, DVD, if you were looking out for peer point, then you would have said something when you was listening to the fucking phone call, right or wrong. The
Right.
hell.
Yep.
Go
Yep.
ahead.
Mhm. That's true. What else do I like about him? Um, I feel like he supported her when Eric was being shitty to her. So that was that was kind of different.
You know
Um,
what? That's so true. That is so true.
but it was unsure. I was unsure. Was he supporting her when Eric was being shitty? Because he also had like a slight bone to pick with Eric. Like I do think DVD does give different energy. Like he reminds me of like what American businessmen are told they need to be, which is quote unquote confident, like nice, funny, but like firm. Like DVD has, probably as like a black man, be like, okay, this is how I come off as the non-threatening, confident black man, right?
mhm.
And like I feel like he's like a benevolent sexist.
He's a
He's
Mr. Pierpoint. Like
yeah, no, like he's like remember when he was like, there's this girl, no, I mean woman. It's like, okay, like you're sexist, but like and you recognize that sexist, but like you're trying to like not be like it's kind of corny, it's annoying, just stop
Yeah.
talking, but like
He's
you
like
know,
he's
yeah,
like a
he's like
surface level panderer where like the result is good, but like we know the motivations behind a lot of the shit he's doing is fucking bullshit. Like
he's a Drake. Oh my god, he's Mr. Nice Guy. Fuck, DVD is Drake.
he's like I think just and I think it's just so well I think he's so well written and well developed. I'm so glad we're meeting him this season because I mean, we've seen it, girls. We've seen this character a million times where like I'm looking out for you. Like, let me take you into a room and be like, here's the thing. Here's where I beamed you up. What do you say? He's in the same day that he fired her, he said I beamed you up to the mothership. Like
No,
just
that's what I'm saying.
feeding her a
Drake.
bunch of sweet nothings and then got rid of her ass after he heard what her plan was. You a
DVD
hater.
is Drake. DVD is Drake. We need to use this hashtag, okay? That sounds like Drake telling people, I'm finna save you from the hood. And then Drake was like, don't let me give you back to the hood. DVD gave Harvard back to the hood.
DVD DVD said, I'm gonna fuck you in this Aston Martin. I'll make you feel great, make you feel at the top, and beam you up to the mothership. And then look what he did to her ass. All because she said what she said in the elevator. I don't know, guys. I'm torn. I'm really torn. I I feel like again, ultimately the Mr. Nice Guys, the weirdos, I feel like this is a cautionary tale. Pay attention. We have lessons that we're learning here regarding niggas like DVD. Go ahead, Dwayne.
All right, so it reminds me of the first time I assumed my security and was rejected in the midst of that. The first time you experience that, you don't know how to react. And I'm like, okay, that's what that was with him. He didn't really know how to react. That's the first time he probably felt like, oh, yeah, like you said, the Aston Martin thing and all that, like, oh, yeah, she's in there for real. And, just felt real confident about it and got rejected. That's probably the first time a person like him would feel something like that. Um,
That's so
but at the end of the day, he can only be mad at himself because he's the one that led himself on.
exactly. And honestly, thank you for acknowledging that the power dynamic there is different Thank you. We have been talking quite a bit about this. Dwayne, you just made me realize, quite frankly, there's a responsibility on both ends. And DVD being in the position of power that he's in, he was actually acting pretty damn selfishly, which is what I was saying. A lot of his motivations aren't particularly, they're a little bit, what am I saying? What is it when you're kind of like conniving, like a little bit dishonest, Um, with the way that he does it, but then he tries to shape it, right? Like legit, Mr. Nice Guy. Like, what do you mean? Look what I'm doing for you. Look what I've done. I've beamed you up to the mothership. Look at your life with me. And Harper's like, actually, like, I don't care about none of this. You thought. And now look where she is. I'm really excited about season 7 or episode 7. I always say that. I'm really, really excited about episode 7. And I think we should wrap up with like what we think is going to happen for episode 7, what our theories, what our thoughts are. I think we've broken this down very well. Like I said, this was a celebration of romance and chaos, the beautiful intersection of the two. But go ahead, Dwayne. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like Robert and Yasmin's story are going to have kind of a parallel. You know, both of them dealing with fucking a boss and then realizing it wasn't what they thought it was in the beginning. I don't really know. I can't really imagine anything beyond that. I just think that's going to be the two big points of next week.
Lizzie, what do you think?
Sorry, I got distracted. What was the question?
Just episode 7 kind of theories, thoughts, what you think is going to happen and what you want to happen, and if those two are, if there's like some, you know, parallels between the two and some commonalities.
Oh yeah. From I feel like Eric and Harper are back. Um, so that would be fun to watch. I'm excited. Um, what else? I saw, Rishi over there in the office, so that was kind of cool. I really love Rishi, so I want to see more of him. Um, yeah,
Thank you,
so
thank you, thank you so much for saying that. Rishi has had a really, really interesting season 2. I'm glad we're seeing more of him. Can we just Can we celebrate that? Because he's like the high stakes of the high stakes of this show. Like he makes the calls every high moment. I wanted to really quickly shout out the musical cues in this show, the song cues. Like I know when Harper's in some shit and she's zoned in and some shit is about to pop off because of the musical cues in this show. And a lot of times when we're seeing that, Rishi is involved as well. And Rishi has a lot of hard hitting one liners that he has to get off. And I think the actor is doing a great job of getting those off. Like, for someone to have such kind of little dialogue, really, we're not really getting the complexities of Rishi outside of Pierpoint. And I'm still super invested in the guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with you, Lizzie. I like that guy.
yeah. So even if like Harper and Eric try to go somewhere else, they better take Rishi with them because I want to see him next season for sure.
Can I just say that I appreciate the little bitty things that this show does? I'm gonna just real quick level with y'all because I know that y'all know what I'm about to say or what I'm talking about with what I'm about to say. The dickheads with the really expensive cars that park across 3 parking spots. All right, guys.
It's so
Rishi,
spot on.
I
Rishi's
said,
from the hood. I'm convinced.
I said, Rishi, why did Rishi park like that? There was literally no reason for him to park like that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the subtle flex.
that's the subtle flex, and it's little nuggets like that in this show that I'm like, this is how you write a fucking show. This is how you do it because
Not
that is so real. What? Why did you park like that? Why did you pull in like that? You're at work. No one cared. Like, why are you being a dick at work? Park your car regularly, sir. Go ahead, Renee.
Also, Rishi has some of like the funniest lines because right before the scene where Kenny apologizes to like Yasmin and starts crying, Rishi was like, to be honest, I can't be a redditor. I have too active of a sex life. Like you just hear him in the back
I'm telling you, those hard hitting one liners. I'm telling you, Rishi's that guy this season.
now Jesse Bloom was getting him with the one-liners. Okay, he's like, I'm an ally in this country. Like in this, it's like I have to be. It's not, I can't afford it.
Nah, Jesse's a 2 to 3 line deliverer. He always, he got to walk around. Jesse's the guy that's pacing and thinks so highly of himself, but simultaneously so little of himself. He's like gonna get, he's gonna get his bars off
He's
across
like
like 3 minutes.
Hamlet. He's
Yeah,
he's dead ass like Hamlet. Like
I love these parallels you're making. Jesse be like, so I don't really fucking need you. What the fuck do you think you are? Who the fuck do you think you are? Not answering my phone calls. That being said, what do you think I should do? I'm like, Jesse, you just did all this big talking to then ask her what she needs, and then you pick her up just to drop her again. When Jesse said, and that Jesse is like, I appreciate Jesse. He's one of those characters that'll like let you get your bars off and then still make you feel stupid after letting you get what you think is some bars off. He'll let Harper get her bars off. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. And then he'll hit you with a quick little, so anyways, like I said, don't you ever fucking ignore my calls again. I don't give a fuck what this little personal life shit. That's called living life. What did he say? He's like, that's literally what being alive is. I said, now that is a bar. I was very triggered by that. Whomst among us in the room? I was very triggered by that. How many of us? I sent a text yesterday that sounded like that. Okay. I was like, look, man, I've been going through a lot. I'm going to get back to you. And Jesse said, what are you talking about? You're going through personal stuff. That's literally what being alive is.
I mean,
You lost your goddamn mind not answering my phone calls. Honestly, here's the thing. This is why I watch TV. I got me another bar. I have a list of bars that I use from television, and I've just added that one. The next time someone tries me with some personal stuff, that's literally what being alive is. I'm gonna be a dick. I'm gonna be a dick just like Jesse. Go ahead, Renee.
the thing is though, Jesse said that to Harper, and then at the end of the episode, let personal life affect him because he skipped out the Bloomberg, so he fake as hell.
You know what? Him, DVD, everybody fake as hell. Everybody preaching and then not practicing what they preach.
They did
Okay.
the exact opposite. They did
DVD
the
said,
exact.
don't bring personal into work. And what did he do? DVD
Brought all the person. I
brought
needed
all
to
the
know
personal
who
shit
she
into work.
really. I needed to know who she really is. Shut the fuck up.
What are you talking about, DVD? What are you talking about?
And the worst part is Harper's going to end up being right. So he actually should have stopped this trade. DVD, he's done.
I'm telling you, my
Like
my episode 7, Eric and Harper coming back hot, guns blazing. DVD need to watch his back. He need to watch his 6, his 12, his 3, and his 9. DVD is in some shit right now. Okay, DVD thought he had it going. Is some shit's gonna something's gonna be revealed this next episode or within the next couple of episodes. We got 2 more episodes left of this season, y'all. I'm gonna be so sad. We'll have to talk about House of the Dragon next. Thank you for joining what we watch. But I feel like DVD is in some shit because when Eric and Harper, when those two types link up,
I feel like Harper's about to get in trouble for insider trading or try to do insider trading, which like
with
I do
Gus,
think she's going. Yeah, like I don't think Gus is the moral compass, so like she won't be able to get anything. But I do feel like she's going to try to do some insider trading. I don't think she's going to be sweet for Yasmin next episode. I like just because like Venetia was up there and I told you like Chekhov's picture. I feel like Yasmin's about to be in some bullshit.
she
Rob's
absolutely is.
definitely about to be in bullshit because he's about to hang out with Nicole, who he's been curving. So let's just pray for Rob because that white man is down bad.
I don't know and let me pretend like I care about Pure Point as a company. What is Pure Point finna do? Because they ain't got Harper no more. And quite frankly, Harper was bringing in the dinero. Okay. But I was shook. This is why, again, it's almost actually crazy that I just like realized this. The up and downs that Harper takes us through is exactly like the up and downs of like markets and like the share value and like stuff like that. Like the way that motherfucking ticker and the shit was going up and down. I said, Lord, what the hell? She said this fast aid is supposed to go to 0, and that shit went to 0, and then it went back up. I said, oh my God, they cannot do this to us. Like the way that this show drops you off of cliffs in moments. I'm obsessed. I told Renee, I was like, I'm breathing hard. I'm very athletic. I'm working on my heart rate, guys. I'm working on my fitness and health. I'd be breathing hard watching this show. Like, oh my God, oh no, Jesus Christ. Let me breathe. Lord, no. Why did that? Again, I can't stress this enough. I don't know enough about what these people got going on, and I don't have the experience that the creators do, but I know exactly what be going on in that show. Okay. At this point, I am an investment banker as well. I wish somebody would check me. Okay. I'm also an expert. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any last comments on this episode and what we've seen up to this point of this beautiful show? Dwayne, you had something to say?
Nah, just enjoying your jokes.
Thank you. Renee, thank you for being a lovely co-host. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your conversations. Thank you for cutting up with me. Lizzie, thank you for joining as well. Those of you in the audience, thank you for tapping in. Share the space. Let me know how you feel next week. We're back at it next week. Thank you so much for joining What We Watch. It means the world to me. Bye, you guys.